Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks, and I just posted this file on Facebook of the glass cases that I made, and the other video was how to test your cut. So if you haven't watched that and you really want to watch it, you need to test your cuts out to make sure your machine and your laser cuts it in the joints fit. That's the most critical thing. But when I was designing it last night, I made a little faux pas here, and well, not really. It's over a half of an inch too large. And it's good, it's fine, and you don't have to use this for a glass case. You could use it for other things and whatever. But I said in that video that I was going to redraw it, and then I started thinking it took me a pretty good time to draw this. I mean, Boxit, a program called Boxit did the finger grooves, but I had to figure out the radius and figure out the turning and everything. So I thought instead of redrawing, and the only reason I'm making the video because you could do this for another box that you have. And if you just think about a couple of things. So first of all, before you do anything is Control D and make a duplicate of that. In case you mess up, you can go back 100%. Sometimes you can't back up far enough. Then you got to think about, we're going to make the case taller or shorter. We're not going to make it narrower this way or narrower this way, so we don't need the bottom. We'll get the bottom out of the way. We only need one of these because when we get through, we'll just duplicate it. Now we need to group this together, Control G, and then we need to mirror it. So we'll have it at the bottom. Now we need to bring in so this is our front side, and this is our front, this is our back and front, and then this is one of our sides. So to do this, I said we're going to lower it about a half of an inch. So if you select all these and hit the letter B as in boy, it'll bring them all on the same plane lane or plane level. And you could do this number of ways, but I'm going to use the indexing tool. And I need to reduce it about a half inch. So I'm going to set my nudge distance on 0.5. I'm going to click on my indexing line and I'm going to go Control D and then I'm going to arrow it up 0.5. And then I can kind of look, well, I can go a little bit less than half of an inch and take out this one and this one. You need to take out a male and a female on all of them. So the reference guys aren't going to cause us any problems. So, and there's a number of ways you can do this. I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to select it. I'm going to go up to Object and ungroup it. And then at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and select it again, because I'm going to have to do it later. And I must not have grabbed it all. Nope, I can't even break it apart yet because I haven't done anything. So this is the way I could think about doing this. We're going to use a little bitty line here to stop it, and a little bitty line here to stop it. Now you just remember you need to do that, and you could do this with full continuing lines, and let's do that. I think that would be easier for everybody. So let's take a line, just a 2-point line, and let's draw it and hold down your control button. And it needs to just be long enough where it reaches past both of them. Now take your pick tool. Let's zoom in here. Take your pick tool, and we're going to put it right there on that edge. Now Control D, make a duplicate of that, and we're going to put that one right there on that edge. And we're far enough, we're on all three of them, so I don't need my indexing lines anymore. I'm going to turn them off or just delete them. I'm going to grab my virtual segment delete key, and I'm going to delete that. And already I can see maybe I'm making a mistake, but we'll deal with that in a second. So I'm going to take my line, and I've never done this before, but in theory I think it's going to work. And it almost worked, but we've got double lines here and here, which is good. That'll work. So now we need to take the shape tool and we just need to delete this one. We need to take the shape tool and delete this one. Now, if you remember, I haven't broken, well, these are already ungrouped. I'm going to delete that one. I'm just selecting that one node and I'm hitting delete. This one might already, nope. This one's good. See, we've got exactly what we want. Now, we can select, we don't need a guideline. We can select all that, and this is what I was trying to do earlier. Ungroup it again. Now we need to, that's why I couldn't break curve apart a while ago. We need to break curve apart just so those pieces are where you can move them around. Now there's a number of ways you could do this, but the safest way would be to take your shape tool and grab your piece. Whoop. Back up here. Grab all your pieces and then grab that piece and bring it up till it snaps to that piece. Hope that made sense. I could move that up minutely, but you might not get it to that node. And that's real important to get that node to be right on that other node. I have snap to object on, and that's why it's doing that. This one will be a little easier because it's not as big. Now, whenever I fill in something with my Smart Fill tool, I'm afraid it's going to leak. So I make a box to stop it from leaking. Now we can test it and it works. Now what I'm going to do is change this piece is over 6 inches wide. So I'm going to make my nudge distance 7. And I'm going to grab all these pieces and move them out of the way and actually group them together. Then I'm going to take my Smart Fill tool and do that. Now I would take the Smart Fill and move it down, Smart Fill and move it down, Smart Fill and move it down, and get rid of these pieces. And the reason I'm getting rid of them, because they're not connected. And people are going to say, well, you could use the weld tool. Well, the weld tool to me doesn't work as good as the Smart Fill tool. Now we can take away their color. We'll select them all. Take away their inside. Make sure they're outside the hairline and move them up. And then we haven't changed this, so we're going to move it down or over. I have reduced my box 1/2 inch. And I haven't changed anything else. My latches should still work because I came from the bottom. So if you just think about that, and then all you need to do is take that one and Control D and make you a duplicate. And then you can safely get rid of your copies. And then save that. Let's save it. Save as glass case 3X. I'm going to make it 2, and I'm going to save it as X7, because when I go out to the shop and run it, I only have Corel 7, and then you need to go right here and change it to 17 and press save. So that glass case now will be 1/2 inch shorter, or about a little bit less than 1/2 inch. It should be perfect. Let's just measure it. Tell you what, let's do this. Let's back up here. This will be a neat little experiment. Okay, here's our old one. This is the only thing we changed. See the difference? Now we're going to select them both and hit B. So I've changed it from that to that. Going from the inside dimension, kind of toward the top center, is 2.9 inches. Going from the inside dimension, 2.5. So I've changed it 0.42 inches, which I think is going to be perfect. Anyway, I hope that wasn't too confusing, and maybe you learned a little bit on doing another box. And thank you for watching.